Okay, so hey, today we're going to be talking about time management and how to utilize your Google Calendar. All right. So because we just graduated bold, I thought it was appropriate to throw in two bold laws that really relate for today's huddle. Okay, so the first one is under time management. We have it's not about selling real estate, it's about following a schedule. So with that said, it simply means if you're able to follow a schedule, you can be successful in this real estate industry, all right? And then the next one under calendar setup, I have, if it's not on your schedule, it does not exist. So when you put things on your calendar, you more so have the intention to attend a meeting or an event or simply a task at hand. The good thing about setting it up on your calendar, it also allows you to set up notifications or reminders for those specific events or tasks, all right? Another great thing about utilizing the calendar and putting it on the calendar is you can use it as a communication tool. So you can simply put in anybody with an email and actually have them set up as reminders for that event as well, okay? So those are the two things or the two bold laws that really relate to the two topics on hand, okay? So before we begin, I do have to disclose that I am not the best role model or the subject matter expert for these two topics on hand. But with that said, because of that, it really allowed me to do the research on how to be more effective with time management and how to utilize the Google Calendar, all right? And doing the research, I found a couple of things that are pretty interesting for today's huddle, especially with the calendar, for things that I didn't know about before doing this huddle. So I'm hoping that you guys, get something out of today's huddle. All right. So the first thing we're going to go over is time management. So what I did with time management was I did research on how to be more effective with time management, because time management is definitely something I've identified as a constant work in progress. I hope that this article can, you can look in the article and hopefully it can help you guys out. But the name of the article online I found was called the 11 time management tips that work. I do have the hyperlink to the article. So after the huddle, you guys can feel free to go check it out. The thing is, I'm only gonna go over my top 3 things that I liked about the article, which I found to be very effective, okay? So the very first thing on the article was number 1, realize that time management is a myth, okay? With that said, it's a myth simply because there's only 24 hours in one day, and there will always only be 24 hours in one day, all right? Everybody has the same 24 hours. So in the article, it was pretty interesting because it's not about time management, it's more so about our self-management. We have to really learn how to manage ourselves to really take advantage of the 24 hours in a day to be more effective in our business, okay? All right, so again, quick recap. Number 1 from the article was realize that time management is a myth, all right? The second one that I found interesting in the article was number 2. It was find out where you're wasting time, okay? As you can see here, I have the very first thing for me is Netflix. I was pretty open about last year. I did give a huddle last year on habits and shared my experience with Netflix being something that I've definitely realized I wasted a lot of time on. So my first year in the industry, working at the house, I was working and I had the intention to take a break, to sit on the couch and watch one episode on Netflix. All right, so I go on Netflix and I see this brand new TV series, right? 13 Reasons Why. So I click on it, I watch one episode of 13 Reasons Why, all right? And then 3 days later, I'm on episode number 13 and I got nothing done, wasted my time. So now 13 Reasons Why is a reason why I don't watch Netflix during the day anymore. So I only watch Netflix after 6 p.m. So again, find out where you're wasting time. And last year, Netflix was definitely something I have identified as a waste of time during the day, okay? A couple of things that, Facebook, Instagram, social media platforms. I can honestly say I don't have an issue with social media. I don't find myself spending too much time on social media, but I know other people might have an issue with social media. One thing about Facebook, I'm not really on Facebook too much. I find that when I'm on Facebook, people like to post really interesting and viral videos where I find myself watching a whole bunch of different videos. So I stay away from Facebook, more so on Instagram. But if you can identify you have an issue with social media, you can try to like make arrangements on when you get on these types of platforms, okay? All right, the next couple of things is ineffective prospecting, ineffective open house, ineffective offers, right? With that said, I know there's another bold law. I don't know the exact bold law, but I know it's something like don't mistake action for results, something like that. But when it comes to being ineffective for a task that's supposed to help you make money in the industry, you have to identify if you're being ineffective. For example, prospecting. I found that calling early in the day for me, I wasn't getting too much results in regards to contacts. So I really switched it up and I started doing more calls later on in the evening. Like 4 to 6 p.m. is kind of like my sweet spot for prospecting. And then when it comes to prospecting and open house is just asking more effective questions, right? Utilizing scripts. Doing those things or just being aware of those things can really make you more effective with your time and more effective, effective with those specific tasks. Another thing is ineffective offers. One thing in bold that I got was I heard somebody say, asking question, do you want to write offers or do you want to buy a house? And I found that to be very interesting. I like to share that. I use that specific script now when it comes to setting the expectation for clients. But like I said, being ineffective with your prospecting, your open houses, and your offers are a couple of things you can be aware of to make changes to be a lot more effective with your time, okay? And then the last thing on the article is number 5 is use time management tools. Okay, I think this is a really good segue into what I'm about to be talking about next. And the first thing that popped up in regards to tools is the Google Calendar. All right, you also have the Google Calendar phone app. If you guys don't have that, I highly recommend you get it. But now we're gonna go off the PowerPoint slide and I'm gonna go live on the Google Calendar, okay? Oh, well, anybody have any questions, concerns about the article regarding time management?
If it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist.
There we go. So there it is. It's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist. Okay, so now we're gonna go live with the Google Calendar. So how I access the Google Calendar, if there's another way to do it, I don't know how, but I typically always go to my Google Calendar through my Gmail account, okay? So once I'm on my Gmail, this top right, where as you can see, a second here, there's a little checkbox right next to the notification, the bell icon. I'm gonna click on that. And I have the very first thing is my Google Calendar. So this is how I can access my Google Calendar. So with the Google Calendar, a couple of things I found pretty interesting that I didn't know about prior to giving this class was really quick, if you on the top right, you guys can see my mouse here. This is gonna give you different visibility options on how you can view your calendar. All right, so I'm gonna set it to month. And as you can see, it changed. Now I have visibility of my whole month. This one I never really used, but I also never realized that there was this little number. It was a number and more at the end. So if I'm looking at today, which is the 29th, if I click on this 23 or more, it's gonna give me visibility of what I have for that whole day, all right? So now that I'm here, when you click on it, it was actually gonna give you a lot more information regarding a notification or an event, all right? So my understanding is if it's not filled in with color, these are considered notifications. And you can simply edit it, right? So if I have this notification, I can go in there and edit it myself. And if I need to, I can add more notifications for myself. So if you're like me, I have to set multiple notification reminders just so I can, be reminded of that task, all right? So I'm gonna cancel this really quick, but in regards to going back to the month, if you find yourself scrolling down, so right now we're currently in March, all right? If you find yourself scrolling down, you can see that I'm going into the later months of the year. And what I found to be really cool was this little quick link right over here where it says today. If I simply click on today, it's gonna bring me right back to today's calendar, which is the 29th right over here. All right, I found that to be pretty cool. I didn't know about that in the past. Now we're going to go over different visibility. We're going to look at today. So this is what today looks like. Typically, majority of your things you can time block would, typically be from maybe 6 a.m. up until 8 p.m. All right. So that's your day. And then you have it by week. You can view by week. And you can view by year and 4 days. All right. So now I'm going to show you guys how you can set up a certain event or even a reminder tied to the event. All right. So there's multiple ways you can do this. I'm going to go back in today. So when it comes to setting up, you can simply click on the calendar parallel to the time of where you want to set the event, or you could simply click on this little plus icon on the bottom right, create event, and then you can simply add your event over here. Okay, so you simply type away, you can set the date, you can set the time, all right, and you can even add a location and notifications. So when it comes to notifications, there's two types of notifications. You can have a notification where it simply just notifies you, or you can also have an email notification. I like the email notification. I feel I'm more responsive when I see an email. So I like to set up a lot of email notifications. You notice here, if you click on the add notification, you can add multiple notifications to this event, all right? Now in bold, they did go over color scheme on how to utilize your calendar. And green was one for money producing or business producing events, pink for personal, and then yellow, of course, for leverage, right? So you can follow that, or you can create your own system and you can utilize all these different colors for specific events, okay? All right, so now, and then you can have the option, give me a second, to put in a description, okay? You could put in the description on what you're gonna go over for that day. And that's pretty much it for setting that appointment. And I know there was a way to add guests. Okay, so if you notice here, you can add guests. They can be tied to this specific event. You simply type in their email address and you can put them in there. And then once you hit save, they'll be alerted on this specific event or task. So I'm gonna cancel this. Another great thing, so I know we have about 3 minutes left. This is super important when it comes to utilizing your calendar. On the left side, you actually have visibility of other calendars on the team. So if you don't know, on the right side, you notice here you have little check blocks. And if it's checked off, you're gonna have visibility of this on your calendar. So let me go back, I'm gonna go a week. And as you can see, if I uncheck on these blocks, these calendars are gonna go away. So if I want visibility of who's agent of the day, I simply click on the block and it's gonna add on to my calendar. Of course, appointments I like to have, very important, just so when you're booking appointments, you don't double book with another agent. The team huddles, if you want visibility of the VAs, of who's working that day, and other calendars. So another thing is, I'm gonna show you guys really quick, this is probably the last thing I'm gonna go over on the Google Calendar, is how to add another calendar. On the right side, you notice here, there's a little plus. So I can click on that and I can create a new calendar. So with this calendar, I can name it, let's just go test calendar. I can add a description and I'm gonna create this calendar. So now what I'm gonna do is once the calendar is created, I simply go over here. You notice this little eye symbol. If I click on that, the visibility is gonna go away. It's pretty much gonna be hidden. And if I unclick, everybody can see it. But before everybody can see it, I have to set it up that way. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna click on the, right here, the settings. So now what I can do is I can simply add the whole team. I could add individual agents. I could also make it a Team Lally event calendar and essentially just go through all this. You could add your notes, you could add notifications, and pretty much it's gonna save, and I believe everybody should have visibility of this. Correct me if I'm wrong, I've never really created a calendar for the team, but I believe it should go through if I simply set this. I know if I add people individually. Oh, Attilio, did you need to say anything?
I like that option. One of my rules of thumb with technology is just because we can doesn't mean we should. And so actually my recommendation, I've been using not a planner, but probably for the last 30 years, I've been using what's called the time management system, which was a Franklin planner for you old school people. I actually still, that little book I carry around is a Franklin planner. One of the things they teach you in a system is try not avoid having multiple calendars, because you might, if you have an event on this calendar and one on this event, you might end up double booking unless you coordinate. When, you know, we all have the same 24 hours in the day, whether we're going to a family event, whether we're going to an appointment, whether it's me time, only have one calendar. Kevin, were there a couple other things? Because I wrote down some rules of the road that I have for the VAs on booking, on making calendar invites.
No, I think that's pretty much it. Those,
Okay.
those were my biggest, you know, things I've learned for utilizing the calendar.
Yeah. So 3 questions I have for you guys. Does your schedule match your goals? Does your schedule match your goals? Okay. Number 2, have your whole family looking at your calendar so they know what mommy or daddy is doing, and put stuff on there that's for them. And here's the thing you put on for them. Making phone calls today so that we can go to Disneyland. That's what you call prospecting. Do you think the kids will get on board with your prospecting? Yes. Do you think they're going to hold you accountable when you're not prospecting? Yes. So get your family involved in your calendar. The more, you know, we're part of significant others and spouses and everybody. Don't have them wonder what you're doing at 7 o'clock at night. They're going to be able to look on your calendar. Today, with today's technology, a 5-year-old can get on your calendar and they know that daddy's at the office working on our family's dreams, and they're going to support that. And when you come home, they're going to say, did you get a signed buyer's rep agreement, Dad? Mom, did you get a signed listing agreement? Okay, you got to go back out there because I want to go. No, I'm just kidding. Get the pop-ups that stop your computer from like moving on to another task. My recommendation is getting rid of those. I've seen people who are on pop-ups that are running Google Hangouts and it stops the whole thing and you can't do anything till you click on it. So I would get rid of those pop-ups and have a habit of just knowing what your schedule is. When do you look at your calendar? You should be looking at your calendar Sunday night for the whole week. And then you should always look at the night before, so you know, like, so you don't get caught off guard with those appointments first thing in the morning and you're not prepared for them. And then obviously I have a triple monitor, but if you have a double monitor, I always have my calendar on the left and my email inbox on the right, and whatever I'm working for on this monitor. Here's the general rules of thumb when you make a calendar invite. The VAs know this. If they're not making calendars invites like this, then they're fired. No, I'm just kidding. They're not fired. Number 1, all contact information must be in the calendar invite. If somebody's running behind or I'm running behind, I don't want to have to look somewhere else for that information. Calendar, you should not have a calendar invite that doesn't have an agenda. Why are you having this meeting? Having meetings to have meetings is a complete waste of time. There must be an agenda, and it's not, let's figure it out when we get together. Let's have a specific agenda prior to the meeting so we know why we're getting together. If it's for a specific location that you're not familiar at, put the complete address in the where part so that you can click on it and it opens up automatically in your phone to your Google Maps. Any attachments, if you're talking about this document or that document, attach it to the calendar invite so you can click on it. And then, one of the day, only 5. I wrote this note here, but I have no idea what this means. Task on one of the only 5. Okay, never mind. I forgot what that last one was. But that was it for me. Kevin, super awesome. This is going to be added to our training library because it's very important. It's not about selling real estate. It's about what?
Following a schedule.
Following a schedule.
There are I bet you there's 5 or 6 bold laws that just have to do with scheduling and being organized. Okay, I tell you right now, there's no such thing as a successful unorganized realtor. Doesn't exist. Okay. All right, Kevin. Kevin, pick 2 people for big ahas.
I'll pick Brooks and Veronica.
Okay.
Okay, so my biggest, well, the presentation was amazing, Kevin. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think my biggest ahas were your top 3. That it's not about like this, the managing your time as managing yourself. That was like the biggest aha for me.
Okay. Brooks, you're on mute. Or he's talking to somebody.
We can go with Kimberly.
Kimberly?
The biggest takeaway is setting the email notification as a reminder. I tend to just have the notification, but not the email to remember.
Say that again, Kimberly?
To having the email notifications.
Oh, email notifications.
Yes, mine's just alert me when it is the actual appointment time. It doesn't give me any awareness like, hey, in 30 minutes, this is going to be your meeting.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Yeah.
Thanks, Veronica, and thank you, Kimberly.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, awesome. This is a very good topic because if you're not organized and have a schedule and know what you're doing. By the way, I hope everyone is putting personal stuff on there. Put personal stuff on there because VAs we're gonna start ramping up having third parties book appointments for you guys, and they are not psychics. If they double book you because you don't have something on your calendar, then you need to move that personal event because they don't know. So you should always just everything that I do is on my calendar. If I'm going somewhere for a flight, for a vacation, all my flight information is on the calendar. It's not anywhere else. Okay. All right, guys. Kevin, always send the standard super high for Google Hangouts.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank
Well
you.
done, Kevin.
Really
Awesome.
great job.
Have a good one.
Have a wonderful day, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you.